and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Edmansky, and I'm here today with...
Justin DeClue.
Amy, Ape, want, record, podcast.
Colin.
Bad Gorilla.
Amy, put the power glove down.
And then the gorilla picks up a laser and fires it at the other gorillas.
Yeah.
Wrong. Doesn't happen in this movie. Sorry to disappoint.
Amy, want, green drop drink.
I have Michael Crichton fever. Give me all the Michael Crichton movies.
Well, we did Disclosure. Wasn't that Michael Crichton?
That was a Crichton.
It was.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Time Code. The 13th Warrior. No, not Time Code. What was it called?
It was like wasn't like Billy Connolly in that? Where they go back in time?
I think it was Paul, Mr. Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Paul Walker.
It was Time. I know the one you mean.
Yeah, Timeline is what it was called.
Okay.
The name is so boring. Yes.
Yeah. Lots of his.
That was a film directed by the guy behind the original Superman. And it was like, late period.
Really? Richard Donner?
Richard Donner, yeah.
Oof.
He directed Timeline.
Well, this movie, Congo, released in 1995, is a very summer blockbuster. I'm just assuming it came out in the summer. It certainly feels like a summer blockbuster.
Wait, so you didn't have Congo fever, April? I remember being so excited for Congo, sub 10 years old.
I think I saw this opening weekend.
I didn't see it in the theater, but we were really excited to rent it from Blockbuster. And yeah, I loved this at that time. I thought it was cool. I thought it was really cool. I remember being on like the playground and kids talking about it and being like, isn't it so cool? And I mean, it's a pretty violent movie for us all to see in like grade 3 or whatever.
Yeah, but it is.
Like all you kids had seen Jurassic Park previously. Yeah. Like that is the superior Michael Crichton adaptation.
Oh, of course.
With Stan Winston effects.
Yeah. This movie is it's a really funny movie. Like it is kind of, it feels like intentionally comedic.
It's almost like a parody of Jurassic Park or something. or something. I mean, you have like the guy who just wants money, and then like the the Alan Grant character.
I love diamonds.
Oh my
says
God.
Joe Don Baker.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry as well.
Directed by Frank Marshall. This is one of the few movies. I don't know how many movies he's directed, but
he's done a lot. Speaking of Paul Walker, he also did, is it not Snow Dogs. It's like Below 7 or something like that.
Oh, Seven Below?
7 Below. Yeah, I'm looking here. Frank Marshall. He did that documentary on the Bee Gees that came out a few years ago that he directed.
It looks like he's done a lot of music stuff.
He did the excellent Arachnophobia. I love
that's
Arachnophobia.
such a good movie.
I've never seen it.
And who can forget Alive. Directed as well.
I haven't seen Alive either.
That sounds very uplifting.
But
8 Below is the
John
movie that he
Patrick
directed.
Shanley wrote the movie.
Yeah, co-written.
And he's
that?
written great things. He wrote Moonstruck, so he's got a pass in my book.
He's also written Joe versus the Volcano. And,
people like Joe versus the Volcano.
Yeah, I do not. And he wrote Wild Mountain Time.
Oh God, that Emily Blunt
infamously.
the movie I wanted to do on a Patreon episode, and you guys refused.
It is so bad.
Did I?
It's really bad.
I think that maybe the Flophouse had done it recently.
They had.
It's quite
I was
possible.
like,
a while ago now.
It is.
Oh, here's one we could do for this podcast. Speaking of summer blockbusters, we're back. A dinosaur story.
I had that on VHS as a kid.
Oh,
I watched it a lot when I was a kid too.
Well, Frank
Blue.
Marshall, he is, he's less known for his directing, more known for his producing. He's husband of Kathleen Kennedy, and Kennedy Marshall have produced, like, I think all, if not most, of Steven Spielberg's movies. They're a power couple, you could say.
So when you're a big producer, you can write movies, and they get made.
You can pull
He's
some
got
strings.
an in.
He knows some people. You can get things done.
Yeah.
But I remember.
I was going to say, when did he abandon Steven Spielberg? And he hasn't. He's still producing his movies.
Yep. And
and the new Jurassic Park movies too.
Oh God.
This movie.
Do you know?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that Frank Marshall. I also know him because he is best friends with. I forgot his name. Jimmy Buffett.
Oh
Jimmy
God.
Buffett.
They're like the bestest of friends.
Oh my God.
I could not name you a Jimmy Buffett song to save my life.
I
I'd be
know.
like, the Pina Colada song. That ain't a Jimmy Buffett
Yeah,
song.
I know a few.
It's the Margaritaville song. Because
Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Cheeseburger in Paradise.
How do they go,
I have no idea.
Cheeseburger in Paradise, heaven on earth with an onion slice.
Jimmy
I used to
Buffett
listen to
has
it.
obsessive fans.
Yeah, he's got a big. I mean,
and
he's
they're
got
all
a restaurant.
like 60 plus.
Yeah, and he has a restaurant.
They don't
chain.
just have a restaurant; they have a whole Margaritaville like land
brand.
hotel.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, can't you like buy like a Margaritaville like blender?
I'm sure.
Yes,
I'm sure.
Like it's wild how much Jimmy Buffett stuff is that. There was multiple musicals of his work.
Yeah, I went to the Margaritaville Cafe in New Orleans once.
How was it?
It's huge.
Was it good?
It's whatever. It's a chain.
Of course
thing.
it was. The bigger it is, the better it is.
I'm sure you could get like a giant margaritas or something, and of course they had a cheeseburger.
It's like when you go to a restaurant and it's like the bigger the menu is, the worse it is. Because
people really like the Cheesecake Factory, and that has a giant menu.
It's true, and it's like when there's pictures on the menu. But who am I to judge?
But back to
snob. That's who you are to judge.
But back to Congo. I remember I saw Bruce Campbell live. He was doing a book signing of If Chins Could Kill here in Toronto. It was right around when Bubba Hotep was coming out during TIFF. And he talked about this movie. Somebody mentioned it. And he's like, well, what the hell would you do? You get a call from your agents. He's like, okay, we've got a movie for you. It's based on Michael Crichton's novel. And you're like, okay, he wrote Jurassic Park.
Insanely popular at the time.
This director is like, Spielberg's producer. He's got like multiple, Oscar nominations. He's like, he's got a great cast. It's got a huge budget. It's like, he said, what the hell would you do? Of course I said yes. And he said, it's like, it's always usually the case for the movies that he was in. It's like the better the time that you have making the movie, the worse the movie is.
So he had a great time.
He said he had a great time filming
this. But he's barely in it.
No.
He did test for the lead, and they're like, no. We need the charisma dynamo of, checks notes, Dylan Walsh.
You mean not Steve Gutenberg? Who I thought it was.
That's
Steve
exactly
Gutenberg
who I
the
thought it
whole time.
was at the beginning. He's not ripped enough to be Steve Gutenberg.
No, it's like he's like if you mix Steve Gutenberg with David Keith, is another actor. If you just sort of mix them genetically, you would get this guy. But he's so nondescript.
He's so boring
and
in the movie
spends
too.
just the whole movie yelling after Amy.
Yeah,
and he's annoying.
He's just a wet blanket in this whole movie.
Yeah, so if like Bruce Campbell was in the role, it's not like he would have much more to do in that role.
I think I'd enjoy watching that character more though if it was Bruce Campbell.
My argument would be I've seen a lot of boring Bruce Campbell movies.
But everyone else in the movie is fantastic. Laura Linney just says, I love Laura Linney.
She's great.
She says every line with such conviction.
She is a professional.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this movie is that the dialogue is insane and so cheesy.
It is unbelievable.
Everyone kind of they play it so straight, which is what's so funny about it.
Ernie Hudson is the
Ernie
MVP
Hudson
of this movie. There's so many good character actors that pop up.
Joe Don Baker's great.
Joe Don Baker is fantastic.
Diamonds!
Where's that diamond, for God's sake?
We've got Joey Pants shows up for a couple of scenes.
Was not expecting that, and we watched this not too long ago.
Were you shocked? Were you like, whoa, Joey Pants?
Yeah.
What are you doing in a film in the mid-90s?
Like, I have seen this movie, I don't know, probably like 10 times, and I forgot that he was in this movie.
Yeah, and he also comes in and gives a ridiculous over-the-top performance.
Yeah, but it's great. What's his name?
Delroy Lindo?
Delroy Lindo shows up for one scene. He's fantastic.
Everyone is just like hitting at like 100%.
All right, I need to come out and say I think Congo's dull as dishwater.
Really?
I am not a Congo fan.
I don't think it's boring. I don't think it's a great movie, but I think it's a really fun movie.
Yes.
No,
and it's so stupid.
Almost nothing
enjoy
happens
it.
in this movie.
There's really no story.
They just go from set piece to set piece. But
no. They do not go from set piece to set piece.
Yeah, they do.
wander through the jungle a lot.
Well, so it's like airport and then hippo attack and then
that that hippo attack is 40 minutes
Gorilla
after.
attack.
I checked when the first gorilla attack was, like that where the main characters are dealing with it. 75 minutes into the movie.
Well, I think you're right, but I do think that there's a lot. There's definitely a ton in this movie to grab your attention, and you know, I wasn't in the greatest mood this morning, and after watching this
Congo
movie,
lifted your spirits.
It totally did.
It did, yeah.
It's a good time.
I think it's very entertaining. Is it a good movie? Not really, but it's funny. The actors are doing so much more than the script.
Honestly.
Yeah, maybe my issue with it is like this should be more fun, in my opinion.
But I
like
think
Frank Marshall, I don't know what's going on for and even like everyone that worked on the film is like, yeah, we thought it was going to be different. Like,
But I didn't realize it was going to come off so cheesy. Maybe.
Yeah.
No, but like Stan Winston, like they worked so hard on like the gorillas that show up only in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we did like 12 different gorilla designs, and you can't tell.
You can't tell
at all.
No, there are a lot of gorillas at the end, but you can't really see them up close too much.
Well, they like do weird like camera effects that makes it look like bad.
Oh,
and
they
stuff
do
like
that like frame stepping.
Yeah,
my least favorite
terrible
effect ever, and it was the mid-90s, so I know it was happening.
Yeah.
But like
we don't want to discuss it, but it was happening.
I mean, you did something similar to that in Impossible Horror, Justin, but it was for artistic reasons. It wasn't to hide a special effect.
Yeah, it looked
was
like
during the fight scene, one of the fight scenes.
Yeah, it looked like they were trying to like obscure the gorillas.
Yeah, that's what they were trying to do. They're
like,
this looks bad. Can we like beef it up somehow?
Yeah. I will say, like, the animatronics look great for the time. Yeah, they don't look like real gorillas, but they're pretty good for 95.
I think the white ones do. I think Amy...
No, I like Amy and I like the other regular gorillas.
I think her face is she's got like a cartoony face.
They had to humanize her.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, they gave her like gigantic eyes and stuff like that to make her look like the cutest gorilla in the world, which does make it look a little fake.
Yeah. That's the only thing. Some of her expressions are very kind of human-like.
At the end of the movie, when she starts snarling, I was like, whoa! Like, because you don't really see her face have that much articulation until then.
Up until then.
And I was like,
now, are you guys a Coco, the sign language gorilla denier? Like a lot of people are out there?
I believe it.
I don't know. I haven't read much. I know, like...
Basically, people are like, she didn't really know what she was saying. She was just like mimicking it because she knew it would result in action. Yeah.
Who knows? But,
I mean, who knows?
Hey, Robin Williams, did a video with her and interacted with her.
And she did not rip off his lips and penis when he visited.
So, I mean, case closed.
Okay. Is it case closed? Do you think they gave Coco, like martinis? Or
and like
cigars
smoke?
And cigars.
Probably it looks funny.
It's hilarious.
Cigars, like Ernie Hudson smoking a cigar in most of his scenes in this movie.
He is so good in this movie.
He's doing a Clark Gable / Katharine Hepburn.
Or Cary Grant.
Cary Grant, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has like a transatlantic accent.
And it goes and comes, and
like, hello.
I could hear him like talk endlessly. And he also is like, he kind of is acting like he knows this is a dumb movie.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of which, the plot of this movie, it's like something from like White Fire that we did a few weeks ago. Like, it's so
or
stupid.
A laser mission, if you will.
Yeah, laser mission. Like, it's literally like, you think it's one thing, and then it's like, oh no, they don't. They actually want. So there's like, some people want diamonds, other people want to return Amy, and then Laura Linney. They want diamonds to
power
make
a
laser guns.
To power a laser.
To do what?
Okay, well, that's very vague.
Why do we need weapons in this world, April?
Joe Don Baker wants the diamond to... Okay, all right. Well,
to fix his communications company somehow.
He says his satellite is going to be obsolete, and he wants a diamond to run something, a laser that powers the communication.
Sure, but I mean, like, that's so unexplained, and it's like Michael Crichton.
But it's a laser gun? I don't
shame
know.
on
Michael
you.
Crichton's like, well, I don't believe in climate science, so that gives me a pass on everything else.
Was that the plot of Die Another Day too? Didn't they want diamonds?
Oh yeah.
Was it a
They did
laser
want
diamond?
diamonds.
We did
The
that
diamond
on
laser?
this podcast, and I don't even remember.
He had like a satellite in space that shot lasers down.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
Now, how do you feel? And yeah, he had diamonds in his eye as well. Let us not forget that. I
yeah,
think.
the bad guy had like
the North Korean guy.
Yeah, he had like diamonds embedded in
Call
his
me
face.
Diamond Eye.
I don't remember.
Call me Sparkle Cheeks.
Now, do you like diamonds, Colin? April? I don't get them. It's like
I
No,
don't
diamonds
really
are
get them.
horribly inflated just because of the
Yeah.
whole diamond industry. So people have been brainwashed into think, oh, when you get engaged, you have to buy a diamond. So spend, 20 times more a regular rock that looks just as
But
nice.
it's like, yeah.
It's no more special than anything else, and it's not magic like movies would have you believe, and it can't power
Yeah, but they
lasers.
power lasers.
Well, maybe it can. I don't even know.
But April loves gold. She can't get enough of
I
it.
love gold.
I have to admit, I
Hilarious.
do not think about diamonds in my day-to-day life.
No, me neither.
Well,
whatsoever.
You could have just stumbled upon some and
No,
been like,
I mean,
whoa.
as a woman, I like pretty rings, but it doesn't having a diamond in it doesn't make it any more special to me personally. It's just another rock.
No,
you know?
I'd be terrified of wearing something like a round that had a diamond in it because I know I'd lose it.
Or maybe you think people will like hold you up and steal it.
I
or
don't like
something.
jewelry. I don't wear any of that stuff. So I don't. Whatever.
Not a
well,
fancy
not
boy.
anymore. Back in the day, Colin was just rocking bling left and right.
Oh, they used to
Big
call
fur
me. They used to
suits.
call me Colin Five Fingers because I have just ring on every finger.
You could hear him clanking down the street when he
Oh,
was
yeah.
coming. So it's not hard to imagine Colin with like giant Elvis glasses, no shirt, big furry vest.
Maybe if
A real
the
Craven the Hunter.
Craven the Hunter.
oh
Craven the Hunter takes Vegas. Okay,
Yep.
well, we're starting off this movie with the best part, Bruce Campbell.
yeah, we should
Mm-hmm.
talk about Bruce Campbell because I mean, he gives this scream that is
Yeah.
like
It's in every
it's out
trailer.
of Evil Dead, and it's just so good.
I remember the trailer, and then when we saw this in the theater, when that scream happened and the cut, everyone in the theater burst out laughing.
Yeah, it can't help it, right?
It's just it doesn't seem to fit in a blockbuster, but it's a good Bruce
That's what I'm
Campbell
saying.
scream.
This is like a B movie plot.
Yeah.
This is something from an
But all
Italian
those movies that Michael
exploitation
Crichton
movie.
did, like Jurassic Park is a B movie plot.
For sure.
And yet we just completely buy it, and it doesn't seem
Yeah.
doesn't seem out of the
Well,
ordinary.
The studios at this time, after Jurassic Park, were like, give me every fucking Michael Crichton thing.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Can we remake the Great Train Robbery, even though Michael Crichton directed that in the
Yeah, with Sean
70s, I
Connery.
think?
I remember when Jurassic Park was coming out. I read Jurassic Park and I was like, I have to read every Michael Crichton, and I
did
pretty
the
su-
same thing.
I'm
I
pretty
read
sure I did.
Sphere. I don't
did
know if I read Congo.
Did Sphere. I read Congo. I read Eaters of the Dead, which became the 13th Warrior. The Great Train Robbery.
I read the Great Train Robbery.
I don't think I didn't read Coma. I don't think. I'm
Did
not
you
sure.
read the novelization of Runaway?
No. Did he
What
write
about
that?
Disclosure?
Well, he directed and wrote Runaway.
Oh,
the
I didn't
Tom
know.
Sizemore versus Little Tiny Robots and
no.
Gene Simmons movie.
Sorry, you're wrong. It was Tom Selleck.
Oh, what I said, Tom Sizemore?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Big-
I meant
big
Tom Selleck. I
difference.
was staring at the mustache right in front of me and everything.
And Gene Simmons. It was
Yep.
terrific.
What about Disclosure?
I didn't read that.
Two adults.
I only read his classic ones. I only read the classics.
Yeah.
I think Disclosure is the one that made the most money, Colin, making it an automatic classic. You know, I've never seen Coma. What's the other one? Looker or The Great Train Robbery?
Looker.
Looker's
Yeah,
a
that's
movie.
another
I
one
don't
he
know if
made.
it's based on his book.
There's an amazing song by the people who wrote that Radioactive Dream theme song. It's like she's a looker.
Nice.
Oh, what's her name? It's
Susie
Sue-
Sad.
Yeah, Sue Sad.
Yeah,
That's what her name is.
SAAD.
There was like a lot of he'd always like his books, they're kind of trashy, right? It's like airplane.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with popular fiction.
It's fine.
I've
Yeah,
read plenty of it.
You grab one before you're going on a flight, like a long
Yeah.
flight. So
Like,
you
oh, I need something. Oh, why not this?
it's the Grisham, the Stephen King. It's like the Simpsons.
James Patterson.
Silence.
He's a popular
is he?
author.
Okay.
He is very popular.
I haven't read
but
any of his shit.
He doesn't really write his books anymore, and he hasn't for a very. So it'll be like James Patterson with Greg Smith, and it's like Greg Smith did all that, right?
He comes out with the plot, and then somebody else will just write it.
Wow.
Yeah, comes out with the plot. Is one way to put
something
it.
in the Congo. I don't know, diamonds.
Oh yeah, I have a question about Congo. Is that where Donkey Kong came from? Or like King Kong?
He was based on King Kong.
Like the word Kong, did that come from the Congo?
Maybe. You never know.
I don't know.
You should know,
I thought you were
Justin.
like literally asking, is that where Donkey Kong is from, the Congo?
Is Donkey Kong from the Congo?
He's like Amy. He's friends with Amy.
A real person. A real ape.
Yeah, arguably, he's not from this is a prequel to Donkey Kong's birth. Right out of frame, Amy has sex with that giant silverback gorilla. And the person that is given birth is Donkey Kong. And that's why he's so smart and he wears a tie.
It makes sense. He's
why
throwing barrels all over the place.
Yeah, he's right. He hates New York plumbers that are Italian.
Yeah.
It's true. I don't know why.
And he's voiced by Seth Rogen, and he has daddy issues. Even though it's canonically his grandfather, but I'm not going to get into this.
I gotta watch that movie again.
So we're introduced to Laura Linney at this company Travacom.
Travacom.
It's like a telecommunications company. She's like satellite, Zoom calling Bruce Campbell.
I like the old 90s tech.
Yeah, he's like looking for diamonds or something. Did they even say that they're...
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't know.
You don't really
It's not
know.
really clear why he's there. He's just like, I'm on a survey, but then he's like, look at what I found, and it's like, looks like blue meth. It's and then
that's right.
He used it, and he's like, imagine what it would be like with the real thing. This
Yeah.
is just something we found like in the sand or something.
So we get in, Joe Don Baker shows up here. He's like, he's a real hothead, owns the company. Bruce Campbell is his son, I think, right?
Yes.
Not enough Joe Don in this
Yes.
movie.
I totally agree.
He is so over the top. It's amazing in this scene.
As opposed to the usual restrained Joe Don
But he
Baker that we
comes in
enjoy.
with like a golf putter.
Yeah.
And then he gets angry when they lose the signal, and he hits a television.
Yeah.
Have we lost the period of the great character actor villains? Because now it's all like somebody I don't know playing an Elon Musk kind of analog, and it's so boring.
Some vaguely Eastern European
type,
actor that you've never seen before. Yeah, this movie's packed with just character actors. This is like a dream.
It's
And
all character
I could
actors.
easily see the much more boring version of this movie in my head.
Yes.
Can you? I have difficulty struggling with the much more boring version of Congo.
But
Take out-
performances are so over the
Take
top.
out Ernie Hudson, take out Joey Pants.
And you replace them with
Tim
I don't know,
Curry.
Take
Yeah.
out Tim
Jonas
Curry.
Brothers.
Oh, Tim
Yeah.
Curry. Tim Curry is making such a meal out of this accent.
Tim Curry's like, I'm so hungry.
Yeah.
Let me eat these seeds.
This milk is formerly from Romania. He's doing a Borat accent. It is a
Way
sub.
before Borat.
Mawa.
It is a sub Borat comedy accent.
It could be Romanian, but I
It didn't have the same one in Loaded
April,
Weapon.
you're the master of accents. Can you pinpoint where he's from?
No, remember Loaded Weapon? Didn't he have? It's wilderness girls.
I can't.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's great in Loaded Weapon. What a movie Loaded Weapon
Loaded
is.
Classic.
Weapon 1 is a hilarious
Yeah,
movie,
he was
and I
like
will hear
Shatner's-
none of other.
That is a funny movie.
They should be spoken in the same breath as Airplane.
I remember-
the 90s Airplane.
Absolutely.
As Naked Gun.
You
Yes.
showed it. I think it was after one screening.
It was a secret movie after Edgar Wright's A Fistful of Fingers.
Fistful of Fingers.
That's right. And you said you were going to show whatever. And I assumed it was going to be top secret. And when Loaded Weapon came up on the screen, I was so crushed.
But had you seen it?
I had, and I remembered nothing
Forgot.
about it.
Yeah.
And
And
then a
then-
lot of people got up and left, and I was like, "You fools!"
Yeah, and I
You
watched
fools.
it. It is so fucking funny.
And it's one of those movies where I hadn't seen a lot of what it was parodying.
Yeah.
because
You don't
but it
need
was
to.
still hilarious.
It
I mean,
is so
Hot
funny.
Shots is like that too, and Top Secret. Anyway,
It's just
a little off
gag
topic
after
here.
gag after gag. Oh,
Yeah,
it's so funny.
Loaded Weapon 1. Check it out,
Yeah,
folks.
criminally underrated. Bruce Campbell. They find this lost city.
And then they get attacked by
Something.
And I love that the eyeball gets dropped in his eye.
He's like, "Hey,
Or
you're
his
throwing
hand,
things at
sorry.
me, huh?" And he's looks at it. And
I wish it had gone in his mouth. Oh, people did.
That's it.
And then he does a front flip. like a whole like, hey, we hired Bruce Campbell in his almost his prime. Let's use him.
Do some pratfalls.
Yeah. Like you're getting like slammed up against the tree. Like,
that's what this movie needed.
And then, we're introduced to Amy and not Steve Guttenberg. And Amy is painting, she's painting the jungle.
Now,
oh my God.
Was Amy born in captivity?
No.
I don't know if I missed this.
Apparently
No,
not.
there was like a throwaway line where he says she was like captured near such
She's
and such.
having
in the
like
jungle.
Eyes of Sauron style, like nightmares.
Nightmares.
Yeah, and then she's drawing an eye surrounded by green, and
At one point, she's having a nightmare, and two men rush in to calm her down.
Yeah.
That would not happen.
It is
like
No,
the gorilla
they'd
would be
be
like,
killed.
oh,
Like
rip
them in half. We're introduced to Dylan Walsh, Charisma Dynamo, and his sidekick Grant Heslov,
who just wants to not be in this movie.
Yeah.
The whole time.
I feel like both.
I am here to die.
Yeah, exactly.
He makes it all the way to the end, though.
Yeah, most people would
Almost.
know him from True Lies. He's always like the kind of wise ass.
Oh, right. He's the main villain in
Side-
True Lies.
No.
he's on the team actually. He goes undercover, I believe.
Yeah, he's like Schwarzenegger's like number 2. He's like a dork.
Hmm.
He's the dork
Yeah.
tech guy that works for.
There's no more funny wisecracking guys in movies anymore.
I wouldn't
I don't
throw
know.
out such a
There's-
blanket statement.
There's
but-
I'm doing it. 'Cause
there
Griffin
are
Newman is not cast in any movies anymore. Host of the Blank Check podcast.
there are like especially in cartoon movies, nothing but like wisecracking sidekicks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but like the wisecracking guys in movies now are all like buff guys.
yeah,
Like,
that's the
they're
thing.
The comedy hunks.
You need the kind of Grant Heslov who doesn't want to be in the situation that he's always in.
I mean, Fubar is a good example of that. The big like buff guy is like the guy who is like cracking jokes. And
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, to be fair, they're all cracking jokes on that show, but
yeah, it's he's not really.
Isn't it funny that a muscle man is comedic too? It's like, yeah, we got it.
Fuba. Anyway,
This was shot in Toronto. I can't do an Arnold. In
That's what it
Toronto.
was. There's that Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary on Netflix I want to watch. There's like
Is it a new one?
It's like
Yeah.
it's like a
Yeah, it's
3-part
new.
one.
haven't seen that yet.
The trailer's
And this
just
is when I fucked my maid.
I think that's in the movie.
the trailer is just him in his hot tub smoking like a stogie with like whiskey and Lulu.
Oh yeah, it's too.
These two
man.
little donkeys, whiskey.
Okay, anyway, so
Amy, she has a Nintendo Power Glove that allows her. Amy can speak in sign language, and
Yes.
Dylan Walsh is doing this demo at the university, so Amy can it kind of speaks for her when she does the signs. And Tim Curry is in the audience, and he is looking so sinister.
yes.
They show some of her paintings, and then he has like a ring with an eye on it, and he's like,
My gorilla could paint this. Pause for
I get
applause.
that
Thank you.
reference. But so yeah, he just happened to see this, or he was probably researching gorillas.
I think she was on Time Magazine or something.
Oh yeah, people.
And then had some of her. So at one point in the movie, we pan around her friggin' like, I don't know, den or whatever. The whole wall is just covered in pictures of jungle.
Yes.
And then at one point, Dylan Walsh is like, oh my God, don't you realize what she's painting? She's painting the jungle.
Yeah, he thought it was just green.
Like, what the
Yeah.
How hard did you have to work for that?
Oh.
Like, or not figure it out?
Good Lord. That's just how clever this script is. So yeah, Lauren Linney has to go to the Congo to find Bruce Campbell and find those diamonds.
This whole mission is a huge disaster, like right from the start.
How good would it have been if like Bruce Campbell shows up at the end like riding a gorilla, like he hasn't been killed.
Yeah, and he's now their leader or something.
Their leader, yeah.
Ah, that would be great.
We have a story about Bruce Campbell at the end of this movie,
Yeah.
but I guess you'll have to wait to find out.
Yeah, it's really funny. We don't want to tell it now because people will stop listening.
People will turn the podcast off.
Yeah,
They'll be like, they'll never be able to top this. Unsubscribe.
So, yeah, they get on the flight. Laura Linney kind of cons her way because, like, Tim Curry's, I don't know,
He's a con man.
he's kind of a con man. Yeah, he doesn't have the money.
They're like,
for the
okay,
fuel.
we're going. Oh, we actually don't have any money. And she's like, well, I have $50,000 right here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's everything is so like shady. And then they land, and then they're in like a war zone basically.
in Central Africa. But
Yeah.
on the flight, Amy clearly is jealous of Laura Linney, calls her ugly woman, and
Yeah.
Amy wants her green drop drink. Amy, what?
Which
green
is
drop
a
drink.
actual martini with olives. So they're just giving this monkey alcohol.
The sight of this fake monkey drinking a martini is hilarious. And you know the actress inside is just like dumping it onto her face.
Well, I need to say that my favorite thing is not that. It's a gorilla smoking a cigar. Because that's even funnier.
I don't know. My favorite might be the martini because she just like downs it and then she burps and it's like, oh, I'm watching a kid's movie. And then like the thing is,
oh, I wish I was watching.
We were all allowed to watch this as children. So like, what is it?
I'm surprised at
that
how
one with Heather Graham where she like owns a hotel filled with not Heather Graham. You know which one I'm talking about, Ron?
No,
right?
Dunstan checks in.
No, it's about a gorilla and like she's standing on stairs and they're surrounded by animals.
What?
No, I don't know.
Oh, if anyone knew it, it would be April. I got it. It's called Buddy.
I don't even know that movie.
Oh my god!
No, you never heard of Buddy?
No.
1997. I literally searched 90s gorilla movies. Man, we were in a gorilla renaissance back then.
Oh yeah,
true.
Because what's Born to Be Wild? 1995.
That sounds kind of familiar to me. I mean, there was
it looks
Monkey
like some
Business.
Tiger Beat kid is on the cover.
There was just everyone had. It's
1995.
not just gorillas. It was all kinds of monkeys, apes, ape fever.
Oh, like Spy Mate.
Like I said,
was it Air Bud? No, wait. What were the monkey
most
ones?
vertical primate.
Oh God.
That's getting into like the 2000s, I feel, though.
Yeah, they had a
or
long
episodes
run.
later.
Will Horneff. Oh, I don't know the name of that kid. All right. Well, that's another one to check out. Born to Be Wild.
Okay, put it on the list.
And Buddy, of course, 1997.
Don't forget.
Rene Russo. It's Rene Russo and Robbie
God.
Coltrane.
What about-
I assume Robbie Coltrane plays the gorilla or something like that.
When he voices it, hello,
Probably,
I'm Hagrid.
yeah.
Okay, so we get to Central Africa and we're introduced to Joey Pants, who, come on.
And
His name is Eddie Ventro.
Ernie Hudson.
Yeah, but soon after. But they have a really funny scene where they're driving in this like golf cart on the tarmac, and he's like, "Yeah, so you want to sell that gorilla? Come on, 25 G's for the gorilla." And then Amy starts talking, and then he's like, "Whoa, a talking gorilla! It's the hairs with the money hairs in the back of my head are going woo woo woo."
I know this performance is out of control.
He knows what he's in. He's in Congo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like everyone starts attacking the airport. There's like explosions or something. It's like, there's like a civil war happening. And we meet Ernie Hudson. He's playing Monroe Kelly.
He always keeps his cool under any situation.
Yeah.
Maybe, okay.
Why hasn't Ernie Hudson had a better career?
Yeah.
'Cause he's so fun to watch.
I know.
It sounds like he's going to star in the new Ghostbusters movie.
He should, because
Yeah, I think he's the teacher.
They're
'cause
filming
it's
it
supposed to take
right
place in
now.
New York.
yeah.
Is it in Toronto? Or are they shooting? No, they're shooting in New York, I
No,
think.
it was mentioned on some other podcast I listened to that Paul Rudd
And
was
I
filming
love
it.
the last one so much. I can't wait to see,
movie-
directed by the guy who picked himself up from his bootstraps and worked at fast food joints like he discussed on that one podcast.
Just like Bryce Dallas Howard,
Yeah.
he didn't
Yeah.
have any opportunities. They took them. Ernie Hudson, he still looks fantastic. He's like the
I know.
oldest. He's the oldest of the Ghostbusters, and he looks like 15 years younger than all of them.
Yeah.
Bill
And-
Murray looks like, I don't know what.
And I think this might be
well,
my favorite movie.
Bill Murray's choices in life are catching up with him,
Yes.
if you will.
Well, Ernie Hudson looks fantastic.
He was great. This is probably my favorite performance of his.
Oh,
in,
yeah.
in anything. No, I
and
haven't seen his whole filmography.
It says on
I guess.
IMDb that this is his favorite role he's ever played in his
Love
career.
it.
Hey, don't forget him in the classic, I think he starred in it, right? Enemy Territory?
Enemy Territory.
Maybe it was someone else. Yeah, 1987 film that it was John Michael Vincent. No, it was Ray Parker Jr. My bad.
Yeah,
You
we
ever
did
seen that one? We
movie
showed
at
it at Laser Blast.
Oh, what was it
Remember,
called?
it was like, and Ray Parker Jr. is
Yeah.
handsome or so in the trailer. But Ernie Hudson was in Grace and Frankie recently, and he was great
what
in
am I
that.
thinking of? Because I feel like there's like an action movie that Ernie Hudson was in. It's like, oh, he's so good in this. Why isn't he in more stuff?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, I love his IMDb photos. Him just like showing off his guns, like sitting in a chair, like just flexing his 32-inch
really?
pythons.
Yeah, that guy's like,
he's
love him.
jacked.
he's
Yeah.
great. Well, he's so charming in this movie. This is the scene where he's lighting up a big cigar, and then Amy takes it and is smoking.
This picture is amazing
Oh, holy shit!
on IMDb. Check it out, folks.
Wow.
guy's jacked.
But yeah, so Amy like puts his face right up.
And it looks like, oh, I'm just sitting here casually. It's like, no, you're not.
You were like,
look at that. You did 30 push-ups before taking this photo.
Wow, his arms. Wow, he's got guns. Yeah, he should be doing more stuff because he's great. He kind of like saves. I think it's all the little like characters, but
yeah, Ernie Hudson would say like, "Hey, listen, I'm not like at a loss of acting. If you look at his credits, he has 252 credits.
it should just be."
But he needs his starring role, is what I'm saying.
I think more people need to respect him because you don't like when you think of Ernie Hudson. There's just that funny picture that where he's at like a Comic-Con or something.
Yes, and it looks like, isn't he standing beside like a standee of himself?
Yeah, he's got a standee of himself in the Ghostbuster outfit, and then he's wearing a Ghostbuster outfit, and he's kind of like bent over the table, and it looks like
his other Ghostbuster
is like having
ramming
sex
him in the buttocks.
Oh. Yeah,
but I feel like Ernie Hudson is better than Ghostbusters, and I know everyone loves Ghostbusters. Well, as I mentioned, he was the warden on Oz for years, and he's a really good actor.
That is like a weird memory hold show, is Oz. I've never watched it.
I watched
it in its time, but people don't really talk about it.
No one talks about it anymore. I watched it after it aired, though. I watched it when I was in college.
So many like actors came from that show.
I know.
Yep, J.K. Simmons had a big role on that show.
Lots and lots of actors. Anyway, what happens in this movie?
Well,
Delroy Lindo.
We need to continue to discuss the disrespect the world gives Ernie Hudson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, so he kind of saves them from the airport. They go in a truck and they're stopped by some army or something like that. And here they're being interrogated.
They get captured.
It's a pretty funny scene. And then Grant Heslov is like, oh man, this is pure Kafka. And then the interrogator's like, who is this Kafka?
Who's Kafka?
Tell me! And then we're introduced to Delroy Lindo.
Who's in one scene.
One scene, and it's so fucking funny.
It's like the most memorable scene in the movie.
Yeah, he offers them coffee and cake, sesame cake. Laura Linney's like bribing him and stuff. He's like, more.
And then he yells at
Tim Curry
twice.
Stop eating my sesame
eat the cake. And then he says, don't eat it. And he spits it out.
But he does like this weird thing. And then he's like telling them, he's like, ditch Tim Curry because he's like a scumbag and he owes money to everybody, blah, blah, blah. And then he takes the bribe. It's like big piles of cash, puts it in a paper bag, and then just like...
And then staples it.
Starts stapling it up.
So while they're having tea and cake, he happens to have a stapler right behind him.
I feel this is like a improv from Delroy Lindo. He's like...
Yeah, you're right.
He just starts stapling it up, and he's like, don't want anybody peeking.
Yeah, I think you could very well be correct there.
They're just like, go for it, riff, man, riff.
So then he's like, okay, take all my guys. I'm going to give you like a crew. In other words, just people who will die later by monkeys and stuff.
One of them is Mr. Echo from Lost.
That's right. I don't know. I can't pronounce his name. But he's a great actor, also in Oz.
There you go. Was Joey Pants in Oz?
I don't recall.
April, the Oz expert?
I don't recall,
Was he?
but he might have been. Luis Guzman was in Oz.
Of course.
I mean, Ali Sheedy, Rita Moreno, the guy from Jurassic Park we mentioned, the scientist, Asian man. He was
B.D. Wong?
Yeah, B.D. Wong. He was the priest. Great show. I gotta go back and watch it.
Was Bruce Campbell in Oz?
I don't think so, but I can't rule it out.
He was too busy with Briscoe County Jr.
No, actually, if he was on Oz, then he would have been more popular.
Or
It'd be
Jack
funny.
of Trades.
No, he's the or Burn Notice. He's the guy.
Well, that lasted 30 years. It feels like.
It does, and nobody knows what it's about. They were.
I watched like 5 seasons of Burn Notice, and I could not tell you what it's about.
It's a running gag on SNL. There was like a skit called what? It's like a Jeopardy show, but it's called What is Burn Notice, and you have to try to explain it. Mm-hmm. Is it a spy show? No, it is not. The Bruce Campbell would be like the crazy guy in Oz. It's like, don't go near him, and then they cut to him, and he's in his cell, like flipping himself and like punching himself. Mm-hmm. I'm just.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That'd be great.
Well, he's Three Stooges stuff.
Guest director Sam Raimi.
Oh no, Bruce Campbell died that day being on that TV show.
Yeah, stab him.
Sam Raimi finally killed him.
Give me one of the shivs. I'm gonna stab him. Yeah.
Do you remember that like golden arm thing that was going around, that Quibi thing? where it's like the golden arm, and everybody was laughing at it.
No?
Yeah, no? Okay, well, I can't, it makes no sense to explain it.
Okay.
Cut it out, April, cut it out.
I think people were just laughing at Quibi in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there was a show that everybody's like, look how bad this is, aha. And it's like, it's directed by Sam Raimi, guys.
Oh
like,
my
he knows what he's doing. Like,
Oh my God.
they're like, look how, I can't believe they're taking this seriously. And I was like, what are you guys talking about? Like, it's a joke. And they're like, no, it's bad. I mean, Quibi was terrible, but
Yeah.
you know.
Is it the only
Until
is it just like a square format or something that you could watch on your phone?
No, Quibi, the people had to shoot the shows that they would work both ways.
Yeah.
So you basically have to shoot everything in the middle of the frame.
Oh God, like vertically
Yeah.
for your phone?
Yeah.
So when you would flip it, it would still make sense.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Why would anybody
The man
do
who
that?
has never made one bad decision was in charge of Quibi, and it was his one mistake.
What was
That's
that?
right.
David Geffen or something? Or
No. Well, I think he was involved.
Katzenberg. Jeffrey Katzenberg.
It was Katzenberg, yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Father of the Pride himself.
Oh,
Remember
God.
that?
I actually
Yep.
watched that show.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were excited to see Donkey appear from the Shrek series. Father of the Pride, the show about the lions
Work for
that
Siegfried
work
and
under
Roy.
Siegfried and Roy,
Oh.
kind of was hurt by the fact that one of them was attacked by the lions before
and
the show premiered.
it was released right after that.
Yes.
That's right. Oh, it's like the worst timing.
And John Goodman played one of the
Yes.
lions.
Oh God. Oh yeah.
John Goodman does so much, though. He doesn't know what he does. He's like, was I in that? Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's like Gwyneth Paltrow. I was in the Avenger.
That's so funny.
What the hell do you think you were filming? I don't
Gwyneth
know.
Paltrow, who's selling supplements under another name that Alex Jones sells from the same company. Back to Congo.
Okay.
So they all have to jump out of an airplane.
Now,
The
I have to say-
airplane's going down because again, the locals do not like them.
Dylan Walsh is uncomfortably close to Amy the way they're
Yeah, throughout the whole movie.
all the
Do
kind
they
of
have a relationship? Like, have
Yes.
they had sex?
it is like
I think it's more of a love thing,
it's really kind of heavily implied.
like a mother-daughter. But
Amy,
who's the mother and who's the
love.
daughter?
Even like the African soldiers are like joking. They say it's like they point to them and go husband and wife, and,
Yeah.
and they're all laughing. Joey Pants shows up again. Anyway, they load up the plane. Someone's firing missiles at them.
and they shoot these missiles right out of the sky with flares, but apparently it was heat-seeking missiles.
Yeah, it was pretty. It's actually a pretty fun scene. They have to drug Amy, and like Ernie Hudson like straps her to
They
him.
gotta push Tim Curry out of the airplane.
He's like, push me out of there.
And then obviously real stuntmen.
Yeah, we get some real stuntmen jumping out of the
appreciate
plane.
it.
I appreciate that stuff. You don't usually see that anymore. It's all CGI.
No, you wouldn't.
It's good to see a real plane, real skydivers taking a dive.
Yeah.
some real parachutes.
You know what's funny is that, like, it's probably cheaper to do it for real than it would be with CG at a certain point.
yeah.
Absolutely.
It totally is.
And it just looks so much better.
yeah, like I wasn't looking at their faces.
Colin's like, put me out of a job. No, I don't want to do
I wasn't looking at their faces being like, oh, it's clearly not them. Like, you buy it.
You don't
It's
really
fine.
notice. They're kind of
Yeah.
flipping around, and you know.
And
you
then
don't
their
really
plane
notice.
explodes.
Like, I was watching The Rock recently, and it's like, it's the fakest Sean Connery stunt double jumping around and doing. I don't care. Like, I'd rather just see somebody real do it.
exactly.
Yeah, that's where the excitement comes from.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is like a fun scene. Whatever. The Dylan Walsh, he's a wet blanket. He doesn't want to be anywhere. Oh, let's go home. And he goes, no, let's stay on the plane. First of all, they're shooting missiles at the plane, and he's like,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to take Amy on a parachute. I don't want to put her in jeopardy. It's
like,
Ernie Hudson's like, can you fly the plane? Well, the pilot and co-pilot have already left.
And then they look and they're gone. It's just
is
an empty
empty.
room. So funny.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, and then as soon as they land, he's like, yeah, let's just call it off. You know, just take us back, Ernie Hudson.
Boo, Dylan Walsh. Boo.
It's like, dude.
Yeah. So once they land in the jungle, we get kind of like this series of very short scenes. So yeah, they meet some regular gorillas. They're looking for clues. They go whitewater rafting, and beforehand
they meet a hippo?
Yeah, they meet a
Yeah.
hippo. They also meet an indigenous tribe, but it doesn't really come to anything. They just get a little bit of info.
Nothing
but
comes
not
to anything.
really a lot happens, and Adebisi kills
When
a
are we
snake.
going to get to the white gorilla factory?
I know.
Or actually, they're called the Greys. I don't know if they ever called them that in the movie, but that's how they were known on the production.
They're supposed to be gray and not like albino gorillas.
They look like albinos, though.
Yeah,
like
at one
scraggly,
point,
though. I don't know.
Back at like Joe Don Baker headquarters, they kind of have a video from the camp that Bruce Campbell was at,
and satellite technology.
They see some blur going past, and then he's like, "We enhanced that image that we saw earlier." And it was like, it's clearly like
it's gorilla-like.
It's clearly gorilla. They're
That's so funny. Like, can you imagine getting a satellite signal in 1995?
I know.
It would be nothing. It would be like...
And it's like live stream video.
Yeah, it would just be like 10 pixels of just like noise. They're like, yeah, it's gorilla-like. Like, okay.
Yeah, and
maybe they're mutated or something like that. I can't wait to see them. Well, you're gonna have to wait to the last 10 minutes of this movie.
Yeah, and like Laura Linney kind of bonds with Steve Guttenberg like a little bit, but she really doesn't like him, and I don't blame her.
He's like shunning her. Like he doesn't know how to interact with people or whatever. He's just like fawning over this ape, and they're like tickling each other. And
they're like roughhousing.
Yeah, they're like rolling around.
I mean, come on, people.
They're like,
it's not illegal in the Congo. Well, I don't want to make that big a broad generalization with a real place. So.
They're like roughhousing and chasing each other around, and like Amy knocks over like all this expensive satellite equipment and destroys it.
Fucking monkey.
Yeah, and Joe Don Baker sees that and he thinks, oh my God, they've been attacked by apes.
So he decides to send a whole other expedition, and then they just find an exploded airplane with dead bodies in it, and she's just like, oh.
Yeah, they already got there like at the same time. I don't understand why Joe Don Baker just didn't send Laura Linney down. Like she had to hitch a ride with Tim Curry and...
maybe it couldn't be on the books.
I guess.
Like they had to do it discreetly.
So he just happened to send another thing down?
I don't know. It's stupid. Okay, so we need to get to the lost city of Zinj.
What about
Now, Zinj. Is that
and
like...
by lost city, we really mean only one big room.
Yeah. Is that like the French word for monkey, which is
that
Zinj?
Is not Zinj. Zinj is French.
Zinj.
Yeah.
So did they maybe just put a Z on it?
Zinj.
Zinj.
Maybe it's...
I got Zinj. It's like mange, but a worse version.
A lost city of Z? Is that what that movie is based on?
I looked this up, and
it's based on the lost city in the movie Congo.
Well, the lost. Well, it's like I wonder if this is just a mysterious city because the
King Solomon's Mines.
Lost city of Z is it's actually based on a true story, and the guy went to Africa looking for a lost city. I don't know if it was Africa.
And hilarity ensues.
It's supposed to be good.
Yeah, that's what that movie is.
We haven't seen
the lost city of Zinj with my demons.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it's revealed that like Tim Curry like thinks that Amy knows where the city is because she's been drawing.
She's been drawing the eye,
and it's pretty far fetched. And yet it turns out to be
if you
true.
were like dropped off in the middle of nowhere where you've never been, and they were like, "Find Oshawa."
Exactly. Yeah, I can barely find it from here. So
well, there's
if Colin puts you out the door and then he's like, "Go to Oshawa," you'd be like,
there's at one point they just sort of give up and they're like, fuck it, let's follow Amy. She seems to know where she's going.
Yeah, I'll follow the ape.
And then Grant Heslov's like, I don't think this is the right way.
He has no basis in that. Anyway, they do, in fact, find the city. And there's some miniatures happening. Definitely some matte paintings.
I think so.
And once they get into that big room, it's just one set. But it could have looked a little better, I'm going to say.
They put like a haze filter on the camera for the interior sets. So like all the highlights on the leaves like kind of bloom a bit.
Yeah, and then our nerdy sidekick, who is, as we said, basically just there to die, gets killed. But they meet these scary gray apes, and they find out, which I think is kind of an interesting storyline, that the
city was built.
Indigenous people who built the city to protect the diamonds. They raised these apes to mine them, but also
to guard them.
To guard them, so they only bred the violent ones because Steve Guttenberg is like, well, gorillas aren't aggressors, but these ones are.
tell that to someone who's had their face ripped off.
Yeah, and so there's like hieroglyphs on the wall that show like humans beating monkeys, and then monkeys fight, and then then they're like, oh, they
monkey,
fought back.
the gorillas like turned on their masters and then killed them all. So it's just like these old gorillas. I don't know.
They're still, and they've been breeding with each other, and they're all mean and violent, and so ape attack. And I really like this scene. I think it's funny, but we did wait a long time to get to it.
They have multiple attacks. There's one where they set up like lasers around their camp.
Yeah, but they're kind of that's at night. You don't really see them
with like a sentry gun, like automated, like shooting into the jungle and stuff like that.
That was kind of neat.
Whatever.
Yeah, but it's just like a bunch of colors and lights, and it's like,
Yeah, it's just like
there's not any suspense here.
No, there's like quick flashes of stuff. But I remember in the book, that's the only scene I remember from the book. It was much more tense and like kind of nail biting. Not so here. So they find the diamond mines eventually, and they find Bruce Campbell's corpse.
Okay. Yes, which is like in a pile of bones that I guess the monkeys have collected.
And
they just by the way, Laura Linney was romantically involved with Bruce Campbell. Sorry, their characters, not in real life.
How could you not be?
So that was most of the reason why she was there, to confirm that he was alive or dead. And lo and behold, he is dead, and he's got a big ass diamond in his hand.
Yeah, he's not looking too bad for like a corpse that's been lying in this heat for whatever.
So,
but the funny thing
our story is
so we hadn't seen Congo in a while.
In a long time, probably not since I was a kid.
So when we were in Vegas, we went to was it Tom Devlin's Monster Museum?
That sounds right. It was some kind of smaller museum that had like props from horror movies and stuff like that. Like the Gremlin spider from Gremlins 2 was in there.
Yeah, they had like tons of props and like, Maniac Cop mask and the mask from Skeletor mask from Masters of the Universe. You kind of like walk through this like little tunnel and like,
it's small, but it was
cast
cool.
of like Alfred Hitchcock and all this sort of crap, something from The Exorcist. And then at the very end, they had Ash from Evil Dead, but it was like this puppet. And I'll show you the picture, Justin. But I'm like,
it didn't look right.
It looked so weird.
He had a chainsaw like mounted on his hand.
Yeah, but he had this like really weird, like dead-eyed look on his face, and his head was like kind of crooked. And we're like, what the hell's up with that? And we were laughing. We took pictures of it. And then, I don't know, like a year later or something, we were watching
this
Congo.
Movie, yeah.
And then he pops up and you're like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
That's the dummy.
That's the dummy from Congo that they just sort of turned into Ash.
They just redressed it and propped him up.
And I took a picture.
That's so funny.
I took a picture and I did a side-by-side.
It's clearly
like, oh my God,
dummy.
that's it. They just tried to make it Ash and it just looks so weird. He was like hanging from the wall too, or something.
Well, they're both Bruce Campbell, right?
He looked like he was like crucified up there.
Yeah, it looked like he had hung himself or something. Like it was just so awkward looking. I'll send you the picture
cheap
after.
Museum. No, it was really funny. So that's what we see in the end of Bruce Campbell in this movie.
Yeah, and I remember she takes the diamond that powers the laser, and all of a sudden she's got a laser gun. And I remember the theater going absolutely nuts when this happened.
It's the stupidest thing ever, and yet the coolest thing ever.
It's like
people remember a scene with a gorilla holding a laser gun.
That didn't happen.
This scene does not exist.
No, I think that's just a Mandela
It's like
effect.
people wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And that's why,
It's like that Shaquille O'Neal genie movie, right? Or was it Sinbad? Oh, there was a Shaquille O'Neal one.
There's a Shaquille O'Neal one. It's called Kazam.
But like I feel like when the monkeys kill like Tim Curry, it actually like cuts to black on the moment of impact.
I have a feeling that was
a ratings thing.
Yeah, it was a ratings thing. It's surprisingly a lot of swearing and like more violent than I remember this movie.
Well, that laser gun, I mean, she just like points it and it just like gets like part of these monkeys' heads, and it's like, so it could be like more violent, but it was pretty violent. And then I really didn't like the whole like volcano erupting.
Nah, it's pretty lame looking.
It's okay, but it's like it just doesn't need to happen, and everything's just like whoa, and it's adding more and more stakes. I feel like this movie,
and the gorillas are like, the CGI gorillas are like jumping into the lava in one of the wide shots.
But yeah, they were like, I was like, what are they doing? Like they wouldn't do. They know what lava is. They're not stupid. They've lived there for thousands of years.
Yeah, they're all committing suicide. Okay, I'll show. Oh yeah.
He found the picture.
I found the picture, Justin.
But like, yeah, we just didn't need it, and I feel like this movie is just like adding action scenes to make up for the lack of story.
Add more. Add more. Add more gorilla.
Yeah. It's kind of just stuff that happens.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Yeah.
But I get why they're doing the volcano. It's like, so the mine will never be found again, right?
Yeah.
It's like buried
and then like, so they do escape. They decide, Amy, she bonds with the good gorillas who are right next to a volcano, but Ernie Hudson's like, the apes know what to do. Okay. So they have a tearful goodbye.
Dylan Walsh is so jealous. Are you looking at the picture?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll post
he just looks off. Even the one that's in the movie looks off.
Yeah.
I know, it doesn't really look like him.
But it does look like he's hung himself. Like his neck is crooked and he's got this dead eye.
Listen, he went out with a smile on his face, the way that he would have liked it.
Yeah, Dylan Walsh, he's like, oh, you're going with the other ape.
I love you too.
He's like, I've
got
get it.
nothing else in my life. Why are you doing this to me?
The whole reason they brought Amy down there was to set her free, and he's
in the
like,
first place.
"Oh, you're going."
He's like just realizing it now. And then it's like, yeah, Laura Linney there, man. And you're like,
I don't think she's into him.
I wanted Ernie Hudson to like just come in. It's like, it's a fucking ape, man. You can't like just.
You gotta let her go.
You gotta let her go. That's
really... And then they somehow.
Also, Lauren Linney and me, we hooked up on this trip.
Yeah.
So relationship's over.
We're kicking you out of the hot air balloon. So they go, "Are we close to the border?" Yes. So they just find they stashed hot air balloon supplies somewhere nearby, and so they go up, and then before that,
and meet our hot air balloon pilot. Oh, another gorilla! Amazing.
Before that, though, Laura Linney calls Joe Don.
Oh, is it like a jump scare at the end that they're like, "I'm glad we made it out,"
this
and then a gray like pops up like Jason?
Yeah.
It's like ah.
Like a hand comes over the basket in the hot air balloon.
Yeah. This is where Laura Linney says to him,
to Joe Don Baker,
"Your son." He is dead.
No.
And he doesn't react, and he goes, "Where's the fucking diamond?"
And then she's like, I told you if you were just doing this for the diamonds and not your son, I'd make you sorry. And she programs.
She does the stupidest thing I think I've ever seen in a movie, which is she shoots a laser at a satellite from ground level, which is apparently something you can do. Maybe I'm wrong, and you can do that, but that's like something out of like an Austin Powers movie. The fact that it could make it all the way to space.
I don't know. I feel like that happens. It feels like it's been done in every Bond movie. I don't know. Satellite shooting lasers.
This isn't a Bond movie.
Whatever.
Anyway, yeah. So they escape in the hot air balloon, throw the diamond in the jungle. The end.
The end? Question mark.
Yeah.
Got a good.
Amy and Dylan Walsh will return.
Yeah.
I love if they look down and they just see
and they
Amy.
saw Amy.
Amy getting like just covered in lava.
Oh.
Just wiping them off.
It's like the end of The Wild.
Yeah, but she was having sex. She went out the way.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have run.
But like that's the movie, and I love this movie. I know it's dumb.
It's so.
It probably couldn't
so
be dumber, but
the dialogue.
It's entertaining.
The dialogue.
April,
is so
I love that every movie. I'm like, ugh, nah, not a fan. You're like, I love it.
Well, one of these
Without
days,
fail.
I'm sure there's movies that you liked that I don't like.
Yes, that is true. We can't all like the same thing.
Yeah.
I
but
think
this wasn't even my pick. This was Colin's pick.
Yeah, this is not a good movie by any means, but I think it's hilarious.
Have you guys ever seen the movie She's Allergic to Cats?
Yes.
What?
I watched it on a stream, and Colin, you like went out for drinks, so you watched some of it, but I don't think you were.
There's
even
the
coherent,
Congo
and then you went to
DVD
bed.
plays a big part in that movie.
Oh yeah,
That's why I'm
Really?
You know
bringing it
what?
up. Yeah.
I thought I was gonna love She's Allergic to Cats, and I didn't like it.
It's-
So there you go. There's a movie that we just.
It's very
All right.
weird.
Yeah.
And it features Sonia Kinski, daughter of Natasha Kinski. And she's introduced holding on like a Congo DVD in the rain.
It's weird, and like there's an extended. I can't talk about it. It's messed up. There's a scene that involves washing dogs that I think scarred me for life.
I don't even know what you're
but
talking
never
about.
see this movie.
It's on Shudder if anybody wants to check it out. So.
Okay.
Where it belongs.
So Congo. you can
Thumbs up.
You can rent it off iTunes.
Yeah, read the book, watch the movie,
Experience
movie.
again for the first time.
ride the movie in Dubai.
Yeah, Congo, the ride, hosted by Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
hosted by Amy. Amy, welcome, ride.
Yeah. So
Buckle up.
That's the movie.
Colin, what? I said to April, it's like anytime I drink a martini now, I'm just going to go, Colin, what? Green drop drink.
Yeah, she won't get tired of that super quick.
That's when I spin it into Chappie.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is worse than we watched Chappie.
I am
and then
Chappie.
we're talking like Chappie for
Chappie.
I am Congo.
Chappie want green drop drink.
Oh, God. April, please stop.
Chappie
Well, you guys
green
saw,
drop
right,
drink.
that I was in Vancouver and at like the world, like North America's like biggest toy store. And
Yeah, didn't you see a Chappie?
yeah,
had
they
a
had a
Chappie?
life-size Chappie there because like
Oh my
Neil
God.
Blomkamp like donated like tons of props to the store.
Well, doesn't he
Was
live? He lives there,
He
right?
does.
Does
yeah.
he live in
Was-
Vancouver?
would it-
Wow. Okay.
He does. Yeah. So was it a Bruce Campbell dummy?
Oh
that
yeah,
just
it was
dressed up
like
as
it was
Chappie?
like like crucified to the wall. I posted a photo of it ages ago.
Why does Chappie look like he hung himself?
And then years later, I was watching Lord of the Rings, and I was like, "Whoa, there's Chappie! That's what he was made for."
Well, if you want to email the podcast, we're at no such thing as a bad movie at gmail.com, and we're on Twitter at no such thing pod. And if you would like to support us, consider following us or subscribing to us on Patreon, patreon.com/no such thing as a bad movie. If you're on the $5 level, you get a bonus episode every 2 weeks and access to over 100 bonus episodes, a couple commentaries, and the most recent one is on the John Wick movies, and we also talk about Kraven the Hunter a little bit. So
we talk mostly about that.
mostly about the new John Wick, but yeah, so check that out if you're interested. And if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at April Atmansky.
You can find me on Twitter at DeCluJ, DECLOUX, letter J, on Letterboxd, Justin DeClue, and every week on the Important Cinema Club. Wait, we're all waiting for our Blue Sky invitations, right?
No.
No.
I don't know. I can't. I we'll see.
Whatever.
I don't really care that much about Twitter.
You can follow me on Twitter, Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
And that's it for this week. Zelda update. I'm still playing Zelda.
Oh,
if
Tears of the Kingdom. You're not done
wants it.
yet?
No, I'm almost done. I've discovered most of the map, and I've been playing too much, and it gives me a headache. So I think I need to slow
Maybe you should
down.
not play for a week. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Street Fighter 6,
Oh, that's
and
supposed
I've
to be
never
that-
played
that-
any Street Fighter games, but this one is so much
Yeah,
fun.
I kind of want that game.
I've been playing the Spider-Man Miles Morales game. On
Oh, that game rules. I love
Really
that
fun,
game.
yeah,
It's so
really
good.
fun.
So yeah, video game update. I'm April.
Hey, that's the
Atmansky.
only one of my hobbies I have not monetized in
It's
some
true.
way.
So you've got to talk about it somewhere.
No such thing as a bad video game.
Video game. Oh, God, what a nightmare that would be. No, thank you.
I'm April Atmansky.
I'm Justin DeClue.
I'm Colin Cunningham.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.
Amy, listen, podcast.
The Steam summer sale is on now. Go to Steam, buy games. We are not sponsored by Steam or any of its affiliates.